Hallo alle zusammen. Okay, wir machen heute weiter mit da Composita. So we're going to keep working today and we're going to introduce something new, and that is da compounds. In da compounds, there's actually also wool compounds, and they work the same way. But we're going to focus on the da compounds. And you've seen a lot of these. So you're going to see things like dabei, davon, daneben, right? Those type of words you have seen, you just haven't quite learned what they are and how we use them. So as just a mini introduction, what you know already is that whenever we replace objects or people in a sentence, we're going to use a pronoun. Okay, so we use those when replacing objects or people. So an example of that would be das ist eine Lampe. Sorry about that. That is a lamp, right? And eine Lampe is feminine, so you could also say das ist sie, right? So that was your pronoun, and with that pronoun you've replaced the object. Now the same thing, of course, you did when you're replacing people. So you had das ist Maria Steiger, and then you would say das ist sie. So same pronoun in this case, because of course Maria is a girl, so we're going to use she. So whenever you're working with objects or people, you're going to use a pronoun when you're replacing it. So in order to not restate the whole thing, so eine Lampe, you can use the pronoun sie to not restate the name. You can use sie for Maria Steiger. Whenever you have the object of a preposition, however, so you're going to use these da compounds. So da compounds when replacing the object of a preposition. Now, what in the world is the object of a preposition? That, of course, are your prepositional phrases. So you could say something like ich verstehe nichts von diesem Text. Okay, so you have the little preposition von right there. That's your preposition. And diesen Text is the object of that preposition. So this is your prepositional phrase. And here's the object of the preposition. Now I want to state another sentence with that, or I just want to restate the sentence in my case right now to make a point. What you're going to do is use the da compound with that preposition. That's why it's called a compound. So you're going to use von, and you're going to stick da in front of it. So ich verstehe nichts davon is a way to restate that without stating the whole prepositional phrase. So one example is davon. Okay, another example could be wir sprechen von diesem Buch. So using the same preposition. Wir sprechen von diesem Buch. Wir sprechen davon. Okay. So you don't have to remember any endings. You don't have to do any of the case endings like you have to with the actual der word in this case. But you're replacing it with this little da compound. Now for some of these da compounds, you're going to need to add a little letter, and that is if you have a preposition that begins with a vowel. So if the preposition is über or unter, or an, for example, of course there's more of them, all of the ones that start with a vowel. You're going to add an extra R, so they become darüber. There's your R. Darunter. There's your R, and daran. And that, of course, again, is just for pronunciation purposes. So if you have the vowel in first place of that preposition, make sure you're adding an R when creating your compound. Okay, now I'm going to flip this. There's one more stipulation. I just said when you're replacing a person or a thing, you're going to use a pronoun. And when you're replacing a prepositional phrase or the object of a preposition, you're going to use one of these da compounds. If you have a person or a thing as the object of a preposition, like ich gehe mit dem Mann aus. So here's your prepositional phrase. There's the preposition. We have a da compound that's damit, okay? But because this is a person, you're not going to use it. So you would say, ich gehe mit, and which one is it? Because it's a pronoun and it's in dative case. Dun, dun, dun. Oops. Okay. It is ihm. So ich gehe mit ihm aus. Okay. So again, when you're replacing a person or an object by itself, okay, person or an object, you're going to just use a pronoun. If you have an object that is a prepositional phrase, so the object of a preposition, but it's an object, then you would use a da compound. You cannot use da compounds when you're talking about people. Okay, before we go on, I want you guys to get out your composition books. Whoops, composition boobs, that's totally it, composition books. And you guys are going to work on some of these sentences as practice, so I'm going to pop that up. This is what you guys are going to do, and you are going to do both activities A and B. In the first one, you have prepositional phrases each time that are underlined, so für das Geschenk is the example here, and you're going to restate the sentence with a da compound. So just switch it up and switch it in for a da compound. The second one is a little bit more difficult because you have to go through, not all of them are underlined. First, you have to find the pieces that you're actually going to be able to replace. And second, you have to go in and determine whether or not you can use a da compound or if you actually have to use a pronoun. So pay attention. Is it a person or is it a thing that you're replacing? Please let me know if you have questions when you're going through.